Hey, 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 we are live. I'm just going to wait a few seconds, a few minutes for people. Hey, Don, welcome in, welcome in. Just taking a few seconds to wait for more people to join. Thank you guys for joining Divine Talks this beautiful Sunday. Hey, Miss Brandy, thank you guys for being here with us. Just a few more minutes while we have more people join in. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for your space today. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your energy. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're right here at 9 a.m. on Sunday with us. Thank you. Thank you. Today we are talking about something very important to all of us. Again, the topic, the name of the show is called Divine Talks, Conversations with the Soul. What Divine Talks is a live talk show right here on Instagram Live, highlighting those tough conversations that we often have in our own mental, in our own spirits, in our hearts, with our close circles, with our families, with our loved ones. So this talk show essentially is highlighting those sensitive conversations and putting it out there in the world, because at this point I think we all need to be talking about that, right? So I'm just gonna take some time and introduce myself while some more people join us. My name is Loretta Ita, and I'm a spiritual and transformational life coach with Divination Life Coaching. Essentially, what I do is conduct coaching from a holistic perspective, which is the mind, the body, and the soul, or spirit, which are the three components that make up a person. So what does that mean? What that means is the mind, which deals with our thoughts, our feelings, our mental conflicts. The body, which deals with where our unhealed traumas get stuck in. And the soul, which is the connection to ourselves, to the divine, God, the universe, to our hearts, to our intuitions, or any disconnections that may have happened to us in life, the mind, body, and soul. So that's basically what I do. I deal mostly with the mind, the mental aspect of that. And what I've done is connected with some practitioners, wellness practitioners in the community, offering different modalities of healing. So I have an African dance healer, which helps us with the body movement, with stagnant energy. The physical cardio practitioner as well. 3-course vegan practitioner, which helps with our nutritions, because the things that we intake also affect us big time in our minds and in our spirits. And massage therapy. So all these modalities of healing is what I've created with Divination Life Coaching to bring wellness to all of us. So if you want some more information about what I do, my information is in the bio. Just click on the link and it shows you more. My bio, my Instagram and YouTube networks. It shows you the coaching packages and all of those things. More information. You can also book a free 25-minute consultation if you have any questions, if you just want to learn more about myself or the services that I provide. So just a little intro there for those that don't know me or know what I do. Those of you who are joining for the first time. Hey, Michi, Buddy Wims Jr., thank you guys for joining us. We still have some more people chiming in, and we're going to bring our co-host on all the way from Nigeria. Excited to have her share the screen. So just give us just a few minutes and we'll bring her on. So let's get back to a little bit of enough about me, right? If you want some more information, click the link and request a 25-minute free consultation to learn more about how you can heal your mind, body, and soul. So the topic of today on Divine Talks is spiritual healing and its stigmas. Basically, what that means is what spiritual healing is and the stigmas around the phrase spiritual healing. When we hear the term spiritual healing, what crosses our minds? Where does our mind go? So that was the motivation or intention of this live talk today. So before we get Miss Lara on, we're just waiting for her to chime in. I'm going to just take some time and share some things, some aspects in which spiritual healing can help us. Some of the things that I do as a spiritual coach and how it's even beneficial. Okay, Miss Lara is almost ready. Just a second. Okay. So how can spiritual healing help me, right? So some of the things that I listed here are bringing awareness and healing to invisible blocks. What are invisible blocks? Those mental traumas that happen to us that we are sometimes not even aware of and wondering why we can't get from here to here because of those invisible instances that we're not aware of yet. Another thing it can help with is transcending limiting beliefs that we've picked up unconsciously. That could be from childhood. That can be limiting beliefs that we've also created for our own selves, right? Another thing is heal emotional and mental trauma, awareness of subconscious programming from childhood, from society, from culture, from school, from the news, everywhere. Tap into the healing powers and knowledge within yourself, which is direct connection with God and the divine, whatever that means to you. Explore the deeper connections between you and God, the divine, the universe, your ancestors, your spirit guides. All of those things to me mean one thing. Cultivate a more peaceful and mindful lifestyle, bringing more peace into your heart, because with peace we can move mountains. When we're in chaos, nothing really happens. Help you get from where you are now to where you want to be and manifest your goals and desires. So those are just a few aspects, a few ways I can help you as a spiritual life coach to tackle those few points. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the lovely coach Lara, all the way from Nigeria. She's a behavioral cognitive therapist. And what we're going to do today, essentially what I plan to do is highlight the different aspects of healing. She's coming from a therapeutic mental state viewpoint, and I'm coming from a spiritual viewpoint, which essentially is the same thing. So we're going to conjoin our thoughts and have an open dialogue on this topic. And please feel free to join, comments in the comment section, ask questions, leave some tips. Leave some of your ideas, some of your tips, some ways that you can help me, help us. This is a live talk show for all of us because it's time, right? Okay. All right. So without further ado, thank you for joining Courage, Miss Andrea. Thank you guys. Angel Coaching, Rasole. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go ahead and bring her on. Yes, yes, yes. Grab your teas, your coffees. Hey, hey, hey,
Hello.
sister. Thank you for being here with us. I know we had like a little challenge there with the timing, with the Nigerian time and the American
Yes.
time, but we are here. And you
Yeah.
did that really
Yeah.
fast. Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thank you for
glad.
being here. How are you feeling this? Yes, how are you feeling this Sunday?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank God that I can be
Okay.
here. And well
Yes.
done. You're
Yes.
really doing a great job. Well done.
Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you. I can't wait to meet you when I come to Nigeria. We're gonna talk about that after, but I would love to meet you when I come back home. But
That's no
okay,
problem.
so Miss Lara is joining us all the way from Nigeria, and I'll just give her the floor to share what she does. I've talked about myself a little bit, so now is your turn to tell us what you actually do as a cognitive behavioral therapist.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Lara Kudaisi, and I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist and a life coach. I help people heal from emotional pain, childhood trauma, dysfunction for a happily ever after, So, and I do this through my healing school, you know, um, school of identity and the likes, and also my private sessions. And I'm thinking that what you're saying about spiritual healing and cognitive behavioral therapy is literally the same. You understand, it's
Yes.
the same. I think we're just labeling it and giving it different names,
Yeah.
but we literally do the same things.
Exactly. There's no way that you were even born in Africa in Africa that you're not a spiritual therapist anyway. Even if it's cognitive, it's the mind, yes, but everything is spirit. So there's no way that you can even avoid that. So she's a
Yes.
spiritual life coach as well. Yes. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much for explaining that to us. And can you tell us a little bit about what a cognitive behavioral life coach does, or therapist does specifically?
Okay. So cognitive means, your mind. You understand, it has to do with your mind. There are clinical psychologists, there are psychiatrists. Those people, talk to you, yes, but they also administer drugs to you. But a cognitive behavioral therapist only uses your mind. You understand that we don't use
Yes.
drugs. We speak to your mind. Will help you get to where you want to be. You understand, from where you are,
Yes.
with different tools that has to do with your mind. We empower your mind. We go back to your past, heal your trauma, those things that are disturbing you, or like there are distortions that are not allowing you to be functional. Is it my network? I think my network is not okay. Is it my
Yeah,
network?
it's a little bit, but
I'm
it's yeah,
thinking.
it's a,
Can, can you hear me and see me? If not,
yeah,
I'm
I can hear
thinking
you
maybe I
well.
should.
It goes is lagging a little bit, but I think we're still
Okay.
on. We I hear you well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we use tools that has to do with the mind, that has to do with hypnosis, anything, as long as it's not medication. You get what I mean?
Mm.
And what we believe is that your answers are inside of you. We don't use anything external. People always believe that, when I go to see a therapist or when I go to see a coach, they're going to give me something to use or something to do or something to take. No. What a cognitive behavioral therapist does is everything, every answer, or sorry, every question you have, you already have the answer inside of you. So what the therapist does is help you to bring out the answers by asking specific
Mhm.
questions, the right questions, and guiding you to see what you're not saying. And so that's basically what cognitive behavioral therapy is about.
Okay. Thank you so much for that explanation. It was beautiful,
You're
and we
welcome.
need more of us to, like what you said. I believe that everyone has the answers inside of them. I believe that
Mm.
everyone has the ability to go within and heal their own selves because God dwells in us, you know. I believe that. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not saying that there are not ailments that you need to see a doctor for, or a
Yeah, sure.
psychologist, therapist. That's not, I'm not getting into any of those things. But I do believe that when
Yeah.
it comes to internal and mental illnesses, we have that ability because we're sons and daughters of the Most High. So the Most High dwells in us. If we can connect, or remember that connection, or be in tune with that connection, we can go within ourselves and heal ourselves. So thank you for explaining that for us. That was really amazing. Okay, so we're going to move on here and talk about the topic of the day, which is spiritual healing and it's stigmas, right? So
Yeah.
the way that we're going to do this is not really like a live interview. I'm a host. She's a host. The co-host. We're just dialoguing. So it's not specifically a question just to one person. Is I'll bring up a subtopic and we can just give our own perspectives on it. Okay. So the first thing I have here is, what is spiritual healing? Let's start with that. Let's define what spiritual healing is. What does that mean to you when you hear spiritual healing?
Okay, so to me, I think spiritual healing, in fact, let's start with spiritual. I think when
Okay.
people, there's this mysticism about spirit or spiritual, especially, I
Stigma.
don't know about,
That's the stigma.
I don't know about Europeans, but Africans here where we are, there's a lot of mysticism, and it's funny because religious people, are the ones who like to put things apart and say this is bad, this is wrong, this is this. But being spiritual is connecting to something bigger than you that also lives in you. You get what I mean? So this is my own definition of a human. There is the body, there is the spirit, and then there's the soul. So when your body, of course, if you want to take care of your body, you go to the doctor, they give you what to use, and then you take care of your body through all the exercises and stuff. But then the soul, we come to therapy, we come through yoga, all of these things we do. Then the spirit is something. I know that not everybody believes in God. You get what I mean? But I know that everyone believes that there's something bigger than them, because you didn't create yourself. You get what I mean? There is something that brought you here. There's a force that you believe in, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, whether it's Allah, whether it's Jesus, or any Buddhism, any other thing you believe in, you get. But it is just a bigger force, that we all connect to. That thing that speaks to you in your heart, that thing that tells you this is what to do, that thing that tells you. So that's the spirit. So being spiritual means engaging with that force, engaging with that thing, whatever that thing is. So imagine that thing now healing you. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Imagine that thing healing you. It means that there has to be a hurt for that thing to be able to heal you. So what kind of hurts are we talking about? We're talking about trauma, right? We're talking about hurts that the doctors cannot fix. You wanted to say something?
No. I'm agreeing with you, because it's funny you said the hurts, because we're actually going to define spiritual illnesses, because before you need healing, there has to be something that you need healing from, right? So please go ahead. You're right on point.
Yeah. So there has to be, when we say something, spiritual healing, there has to be a hurt for that thing to heal you. You understand? To heal that hurt. So what hurt can can the spirit or being spiritual heal? And it's the hurts that are not seen to the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? The hurts that are not seen to their eyes. You see people tell you I'm depressed, and you really cannot measure depression with temperature. You understand? You cannot measure depression is not seen. It happens in the mind. You get what I mean? So maybe somebody is going through sexual abuse, maybe emotional abuse. All these things cannot be measured with the eyes. So those are the things that we need spiritual healing for, because the doctor cannot heal us. You get what I mean? Doctors cannot heal those kind of things, because doctors will tell you
Yes, I can hear you now.
yes, because I remember there was a house I was living in then, and my landlord was a doctor, a medical doctor, and me a therapist. So we used to argue a lot. He'll tell me, you guys, you don't say nothing. Like, we believe in the brain. You guys talk about the mind. The mind does not exist. We only believe in the brain, because that is what they can see. You get. So that's when you go to your doctor. that's what they can see. So doctors can treat what they can see, but spiritual healing is for illnesses, diseases, pain, hurts that cannot be seen. So that's why when you go to your doctor, you say, I'm having depression, or I'm having some sort of something is happening. They'll try to narrow it down to something physical so that they can diagnose it and give you drugs, for it.
Yeah.
But that's not what spiritual healing is. Spiritual healing is healing those hurts that are not physical, those hurts that, are even so difficult to describe. You get? So that's what spiritual healing is.
Yes. Very beautiful definition. Right. Pretty much we're saying the same thing. What I have defined as spiritual healing is, like you said, spiritual first. We're all spirits.
Yes.
I know some people don't believe in a higher power,
Yes.
and that's fine.
It's
fine.
okay.
At the end of the day, is whoever believes that. But it's sometimes it's hard to believe that, we just came from nothing. We have if we did come from nothing, I think that will be more robotic. Will be more like technical, like robot. I don't think we'll have the ability to dream, to have memories, to have precognitions, to have foresight, to have insight, to think, critical thinking, all of those things. But that's a different subject. My definition of spiritual healing is pretty much the balancing or regeneration of a person's mind or emotional body. It's the balancing. So basically, to say balancing, it goes right into what an illness is, what is spiritual illness, the imbalance of your emotional mental state. So spiritual healing is the balancing, correcting of that. So thank you for explaining that in detail. That was really, really amazing. I keep looking here to see, I want to use on my laptop to see if there are any comments. Please feel free to comment, you guys. I know we're just getting in. If there's anything you want to say, any questions you have, any comments, any inputs, I'm looking on here to see if I can read, because this is a little farther than me, so feel free. Okay. So we've talked about spiritual healing. We've talked about spiritual illnesses. What are some spiritual illnesses that we are familiar with?
Okay, so spiritual illnesses that I know are traumas. You've been some sort of trauma, maybe grief, for instance. You've lost somebody, and then you can't seem to move on, from that, or you're stuck in your life. There are a lot of people who go through this, where you're stuck, you're just going through the motions, you're unhappy inside of you. You get what I mean? You're in pain, and when people ask you, you cannot seem to describe it. You get what I mean? Or sometimes some people keep going from one broken relationship to another, and they cannot seem to, and this is what they want so bad, but they cannot seem to be happy with it. They cannot seem to, have that thing. And, so there's this heartbreak, there's this depression, or that you're struggling with. There's this grief in your heart that is eating you so deep, and you cannot be happy, you cannot move forward. Or there's this abuse, that you've been through, or you are still going through, and is clogging you from happiness. Anything that is disturbing you or distorting you from getting to the fulfilled life. You get what I mean? That you perceive is yours. You understand? Because I always tell people, for instance, you're Loretta, I am Lara. You have what makes you happy. You have a goal. You have a dream. I have what I want. Some people may think, I don't want, I just want to have kids. I don't want to be married. I don't want to, I just want to have a small car. I just want to have a nice apartment, that's your dream. You understand? That's your own goal. That's your life. So if you are exhibiting or going through anything that is holding you or stopping you from getting into that dream, that's an illness. But a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people, especially Africans, Loretta, permit me to talk to Africans,
Yes,
right
please,
here, we always think is war, from the father, generational curses from my father's family, from my mother's family, from the polygamous home that I have, you know, the roots, we have to take care of it, we have to uproot it, we have to do this, we have to do that, you know. And this now takes our attention off what is important. And then we begin to fight an invisible war, an invisible battle, and we never get solutions for it, you know. So, and that's an illness on its own. That's a spiritual illness, you know, ignorance, casting blames, you get to, you know, in inappropriate places. So I feel that spiritual illnesses are things, trauma, pain, PTSD, all these things that you have been through or you are going through that is not allowing you to get to your specified, fulfilled life. You get what I mean. That is what I think is an illness. And I tell people, you know, when people come to the office and I tell them, okay, this is the problem, and then this is what I think is the solutions, and then you need to come back for more sessions. And then, you know, Africans now, they're telling you, oh, Lara, it's a lot of money, it's expensive, don't worry, I'll go pray about it and stuff, or maybe next year or maybe in 2 years time I'll think about therapy and stuff. And I tell people, I tell them, I said emotional illness, which I also equate to the spiritual illness, is like going through a physical illness where, you know, God forbid, if they say, Loretta, you have some sort of fibroid or something in your intestine, and if you don't go through a surgery in the next 6 hours, you may not make it and stuff. You know, you are looking for money for whatever. You know, you have to make it done. You get it done because it makes you feel uncomfortable. You're not happy. You're not excited. You know, you cannot be functional. I tell people, I said emotional illnesses and spiritual illnesses are the same. But unfortunately, because they are internal, people don't know. So you want something so bad in your life. You have been praying, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to do this. You don't know what could be disturbing you or distorting that is your trauma or your patterns or something that is not healthy. You don't know that until you go through therapy, until you heal from these things, before you can get those things you want. A lot of people don't know this. So, but they don't know this. So because of that, they don't you know, pretty much put much importance. They don't invest in it. So they don't think it's a big deal. They think as long as I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, you know, Jesus will fix it, Allah will fix it. Let me just keep praying. Let me fast for 10 days. And then they keep fasting for 10 years and nothing happens. You know, so that's just one point I just wanted to chip in for our African people here.
And it's interesting you said African people, because you're very right. I'm from Nigeria as well, so I understand that 110%. This is where it's so interesting. I've been in the United States for about 21 years, and this podcast is for everyone. It's for Africans, for non-Africans, for Europeans, for Asians. This is for everyone. If you have a spirit, only if you have a spirit. I'm not talking to those. Only if you have a spirit, right? That's everybody. But I always, being that I've been here for this long, I have both worlds inside of me. Good. So when you said for African people, which is very true, I want to highlight African American people as well. Because sometimes, again, in my own experience here, you know, most of my clients are so far African Americans. And I try to let them know that a lot of the things that we're dealing with now, it's not necessary. You have to understand that it's linked. African Americans are from Africa. That's your lineage. That's your bloodline. So a lot of these issues that dwell in Africa is good to highlight the fact that is connected. And that's what I pride myself in doing, is bringing this knowledge to African Americans that are not aware of some of the issues that they are going through now. It's not even from your, maybe, okay, my mother or my mother's mother or my grandmother's. It's from your grandmother's mother's bloodline, which is you. You see what I'm saying? So I like that you made that point, and I just wanted to add the other part of it to let people know that, hey, this is not an African thing. People that live in Africa. This is people in Africa in the
someone
diaspora.
Already commented, Loretta, someone commented here that it happened. He said, Twerk and Tone said, it's like that in the Western world too, sis. Thank you both for talking about this. Because I'm
Exactly.
sure
This is
Hispanics and stuff too. Yeah.
exactly. Of course, of course. This is why I'm called to do this, because we don't see it, you know, and it's time to bring to highlight these things, because it's time to heal. The whole world is ready to heal. Even the mother Earth, the planets is even ready to heal. So not to talk of us who live in the
Yeah.
earth. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Spiritual illnesses, what I have down here is trauma, like you said, trauma-based experiences, generational afflictions, like you said, generational things, generational curses. Sometimes you may have some issues going on mentally,
Yeah.
or like you said, fibroids. Sometimes we don't
Yeah.
understand that is linked to our, it may be our great grandmother or our
Yeah.
mother, or that they have similar experiences. Like my mother had fibroid, my grandmother had not me, but just speaking in general,
Yeah.
these things are linked and they're not just physical.
Yes.
Also, the foods that we eat is
Yeah.
also another form of mental illness, because we know that whatever we put into our bodies and our minds can be a catalyst for problems. So that's
Yes.
another thing I want to highlight. Even studies have shown that our conscious thoughts, our mental space
Oh, exactly.
affects our cellular electrical body, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it's time to definitely highlight those things. So thank you for explaining more from your perspective what a spiritual illness is, which essentially we're saying the same thing. This
Yeah.
is just a dialogue of two sisters, really.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about, please feel, does anybody have any questions? Please feel free to leave questions or comments. So we've talked about spiritual illnesses. Now I want to talk about what are the different types of spiritual healings. Um, Spiritual healing is there's so many different modalities that you can help your mind. We have holistic healing with herbs, natural medicine, herbal doctors. They're still doctors. They're just not
Yeah.
chemical based. These are more natural and plant based holistic doctors. We have shamans. We have yoga practitioners, which really I did yoga for 1 year, and let me tell you, sister, that has changed my mental tremendously. I think
Wow.
sometimes when we hear yoga, we are thinking something. I don't even know what the perception is really, but my own
Yeah.
experience, it helped my body, it helped me lose weight. It helped me
Wow.
connect more with, yes, because you're stretching into positions and you sit there for a second and you have no choice but to sit in that pain. So you're burning fat. You're burning fat
Wow.
as you're sitting in that pain. Yeah. And also, what I really tapped into when I was doing the physical yoga was the mental thing. Because I feel like if we can fight the war that's happening in our bodies, we can fight the
Mm.
wars that are happening in our minds. So it
Yeah.
helped me push my mental to say, okay, I'm feeling pain, I want to give up, but you know what, I need to prove to myself that I'm strong. So that's a mental strength. That's how it
Yeah.
helped me. And it also
Yeah.
helped me with mindfulness. It helped me to be more grounded into my body, because I don't think we realize a lot of times that we are in our minds all day, every day. We're in the
Mm.
mental world. We don't even know what's
Yeah.
happening with our legs, with our arms, with our
Yeah.
stomach, because we're so much into the mental. So yoga
Yeah.
really helped me create mindfulness and connect more with my body and lose weight. Those are tremendous things. We have hypnotherapists, which I think you said you did. In your practice, you do hypnotherapy, yeah? Okay. We have spiritual diviners, which are mediums, people who have access to the other realms that can help you heal. Now, that's neither here or there. That's for whoever chooses to do that. I'm just listing the types of different spiritual healings that we have. We have spiritual healings in the church, like a pastor who can pray for you with good intentions and help you heal because they have this natural gifts. So, what are some
Mm.
spiritual healings, different avenues that you know?
Network is pretty
Okay.
unstable right now.
Can you hear?
Okay. Yeah. So when
Okay.
you've literally just listed all of them, like you said, I'm really excited that you mentioned the pastor doing, part of it, because people ask me here, people who are Christians, for instance, Muslims, but Christians a lot, like, so are you telling me that, Lara, therapy negates Christianity. Is that what you're saying? Or therapy negates religion, or stuff like that. And I always tell people it's not true. All these things are just our way of connecting to God or the higher power, whatever we believe in. All of them are the same. But we just like to there's this discrimination inside of us. There's that thing that feels like I'm superior. Whatever I'm practicing is superior. Whatever I'm doing is, there's this battle of superiority that we have on earth that just causes confusion, and it's just so sad. Like, it is so sad when I see people always saying, no, those ones are not, they are what, children of darkness. This one is not, this one is not. It's all lies. All these things work hand in hand. All these things work hand in hand. Look at how you have highlighted the importance of yoga, for instance. Like, I'm already thinking, there's somebody that always been telling me to come do yoga. From what you said, now I'm already considering that. Okay, maybe, maybe I'm going to give this thing a try. So spiritual, healing and all of these things has different, there's the therapy, which is the one I specialize in. And the beautiful part of therapy that I like is connecting to your past. You get what I mean? There's something we use a lot in my kind of therapy, which is hypnosis. And I love it so much because yes, thank you, Angel Coaching. She said, he said, they all work together to make us whole. Exactly. All of these things.
Holistically, right? Yes.
It's just, nothing should contradict each other. Nothing should, because I'm doing yoga does not mean I'm not a Christian, or because I'm going to therapy does not mean I'm, that's just it. Yeah. Thank you. You can heal.
Thank you for highlighting the stigmas.
So much.
These are all stigmas.
Yes. Thank you. In fact, thank you for bringing that back. I didn't remember. Like, those are the stigmas. We think that we have to choose, one.
Yeah.
Why do we have to choose? For instance, I believe so much in horoscopes, a lot. And then some people who are Christians will tell me it's darkness, it's the word of the darkness, it's the blah 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 blah. That is nonsense. I always tell people that's ignorance anyways. Like, how is that harming me? How is it hurting me?
Exactly.
How is that harming me? Enhancing my knowledge, enhancing what I do. Why are you condemning it? You get what I mean? So as I was saying, there's this thing we use in therapy, in cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's hypnosis. And what hypnosis does, I'm sure everybody's familiar with hypnosis. Hypnosis is just
yes. I'm sure most of us are.
Yes, just like something about some little bit of astral travel. It subdues your conscious mind, and then kicks in your subconscious. But because we believe in therapy, in cognitive behavioral therapy, that the subconscious is 95% of who you are. 95% of what you do is controlled by your subconscious.
Yes.
Yes, 95%. So meaning that 5% is you're only responsible, your conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of what you do, of who you are. That's why when somebody says, I'm not going to date this kind of people anymore, I'm not going to date this kind of men anymore, it's done. And you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. But subconsciously, you find yourself drawn to them again. You find yourself, there's a reason why. It's your subconscious mind that is controlling you. It's like
and those are the same people, not to cut you off, but those are the same people that are telling you, I'll wait till next year to heal. I don't know, it's too much. Right? Those are the same people not understanding the link, how important it can save your life.
No, you're very right. Like, it can save your life, and not just even keep you alive, but keep you alive longer. Because the happier you are, the tendency for you to live longer. Because depression can be linked to early death, or because when you're unhappy, there's something that just wants you, hurt you or harm you emotionally and stuff like that. So there's this hypnosis, this part of us that we do, this hypnosis that takes you back to when you were a child. Because in emotional therapy, we connect everything to your childhood. A lot of things, a lot of who you are now, Loretta, is connected to how you were raised. Is connected to where you were born. Is connected to the people who raised you, whether your parents or your handlers, whoever raised you. So we take you back to there. Because if you tell me now, Loretta, that for instance, Lara, I want to love, but I can't be vulnerable. I can't give myself to someone. That's an illness. That's a spiritual illness, you know, because, you know, you cannot be vulnerable. You cannot lose yourself in love to people. You're supposed to love people, but people are
There's a
loving, they can
blockage.
accept it. Yes, there's a blockage, exactly. You know, that's an illness that you need to deal with spiritually. And hypnosis takes you back to where it started from. How did you get here? What happened? You understand? The blockage did not just happen last year. It just didn't happen 2 years ago. It just didn't happen now. Something, you know, caused the blockage. What trauma did you go through? What pain did you go through? For some people, maybe there was a heartbreak and they didn't process it, they didn't deal with it. And because of that, subconsciously, they just cannot, you know, let somebody else in. For some people, they lost a parent, you understand? They lost a child, or they lost a sibling, or a friend, or people started leaving. There's someone who told me that, Lara, everybody around me left. And when he says left, it's for death. My dad died, my mom died, my wife died, my this died, my dad died. You know, my friend died, my sister died. You know, so that's going to automatically create a blockage. So hypnosis takes you back to where you started from. Where did it start from? At what point did you gravitate from this happy, open, beautiful person to this person that is now so cold and so closed and so blocked and cannot move forward? So that is the beauty that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to spiritual healing, you know, because there's no amount of talk, I can tell you, that is going to change that, because I'm talking to your conscious mind. I'm talking to your conscious person. So for instance, if Loretta, you're the one who has that issue, I keep telling you, Loretta, you know something, you have to give yourself, you cannot be alone, you know, this life, you know, when you are older, you need people, you will hear me, but you don't have the capacity to create that change. So what spiritual healing does to you is to help you dissolve, for instance, that blockage. One, it helps for you to trace the source of the blockage, you know, and then 3, it helps you create that change, you know, that will help you become warmer to people, more receptive, more open, more this and all of that. But a lot of people are not aware of this, you know. So people tell me, Lara, I just don't like cuddling. I don't like too much, you know, display of affection. Too much affection. I'm not an affectionate person, you know, but you don't know that is not true.
Exactly.
That's not true. I used to say, well, you know, I'm divorced now. And when I was married, my ex-husband used to send me messages, you know, these cute messages. I love you, you're this. And at the point I started saying, I don't think I like display of affection. I think I'm not just, but I realized later on that it was because I was unhealed. It was because I had a blockage. You hear what I mean? It wasn't when I myself went through this healing for me to realize that going through 14 heartbreaks, you know, and having a child at 19, you know, was what has caused this blockage in my life. So, and until I healed from that, I cannot confidently say I don't like affection. It's not true. I realize now, having gone through that healing, that I am a very affectionate person. In fact, I crave that a lot. But at that time, so that's why I ask people, a lot of people, who you are right now is not really who you really are. Who you think you are is not who you are. Something has happened somewhere that has twisted you, that has distorted, you know, your real humanity, the real person that you have been created to be. So right now you are living a twisted identity. You have a distorted identity, you know. So, and until you go back to source, which is the spiritual healing we're talking about, until you go back to source and trace where the blockage came from, until you go back to source and go through all the, you know, the ritual, now in quotes, which is the healing tools, you know, and everything that we have to use. Until you go back there, you're going to die an unfulfilled person.
Yes.
You know, that's one of my
we call it
greatest
here The
fears.
Walking Dead. There's a show called The Walking Dead. That's exactly what that is. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have heard about the show.
Yes,
On
yes, yes,
Netflix.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So what you're saying is very, very powerful, because also from the things that have blocked us with our own experiences, but also the programming of society. We don't realize that from 3, 4, 5 years old, we're watching TV and they're programming us on how it should be, what age to be married, even our own traditions, right? What age to be married to be considered normal, what kind of house you should have, how much money you should have. All these things have shaped us.
Yes.
We call it the matrix here. That's what we call it here. And some of us call it that. And it's like this bubble or this box that we're now operating from. And we think, oh, this is our true self. No, it's not the true self.
That's not
it's the programmed robotic self, right?
Exactly. You know, so, and that is one of the things I'm excited that, you know, this is what you're doing and everyone else doing it, and
Thank
me.
you.
Because this is one of the things that I want to help people find their true identity. You get what I mean?
Lupita says, yes, programming. Thank you, Lupita.
Yes, I want to help people find their true identity, because I remember when I was under this programming, unhealthy programming, or this programming that wasn't serving me. You know, I was this happy child, but that grew up in a very religious and conditioned environment. You get, so there was a particular way we're supposed to do things. You shouldn't, you know, smile too much. You shouldn't be too flamboyant, and I'm this loud, in quotes, person, free person. I wanted to just be free. But
you're just trying to live your best life. Hey.
But because of
that's all.
But because of this programming, I was contained. So I really couldn't be myself. So I had this, I have two personalities. You get, on the outside, I wore this facade or persona for people, to suit in, to fit in everywhere we were supposed to be. But inside of me, there was a disconnect. There was a conflict. You get what I mean? There was a conflict of, this is not who I am. I want more from life. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do all of these things. And I realized that that facade that I had on also would attract some sort of people to you. Do you get what I mean? So even the friends you have, the husband you married, the wife you married, the job you do, the people you keep around,
everything
that's distorted identity that attracted all of those people. By the time you come to your real self, by the time you find your true self and start living, and I also tell people, when you find your true identity, you require the self-esteem and self-confidence to live it. Because that was another thing I had to, develop, or
that's a big one for all of us.
Because Loretta, by the time, if you check my bio, you see it there. Healed from having a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, and a divorce. That's a big deal for an African woman living in Africa.
Especially for an African woman. Specifically.
Living in Nigeria. That's like a turn off for a lot of people, because we're a secretive society. You understand?
Everything, so my friends, under the rug. We same thing here, even with our melanated sisters and brothers here in the diaspora. That's why I like this conversation, because it's the same. But it's good for them to hear you speak about your story, to know that we're not so far, we're not different at all. We're just in different places. Go ahead, sorry.
So, and I was telling you too the other day that I have this, I'm having Caucasian clients now, and I realized that we have a lot of things in common that we don't know.
Because we're human beings, we're spirits.
Because we all have spirits, like you said earlier.
Yes.
So, and having that on my bio, because that's what my story, that's what I share. In fact, I started sharing it on Facebook. It's going to be 10 years on Saturday, July 2nd.
Yeah. Congrats again.
Thank you. When I went on Facebook and started sharing that story, that was against my programming. You understand? Because the African programming and is being secretive. How can you talk about abortions out there? Oh my God, who's going to marry you? How can you talk about having a child outside of wedlock? Who's going to want to be with you? How can you talk about having 14 heartbreaks? Oh my God, that shows that you're a hooker or something like that. You know. So, but because I had come to this freedom, you get what I mean? I had come through this healing. I understood my identity. And that gave me freedom. That gave me ease, because it made me realize that even though I've been through all of these things, it doesn't mean that's who I am. It doesn't define who I am. You get what I mean? It doesn't stop me from being, it's just an experience. It's just a phase, you know, that I have learned from. And now I'm using the lessons and the tools I've acquired to also help other people, you know. But there are a lot of, and that's why the people who come to me, that's why they identify with me. Because they realize that, man, for this girl to have gone through all of this and put it out there, it shows that, man, I've not even gone through half of what she went through. She'll be able to help me. It shows that, you know, for her to be doing better, I also have the hope, you know, to do better. So people don't see that, because that's a subject of hope. It's an instrument of hope. You know, so that's the stigma. People see it as, you know, she has a dirty story, but it doesn't hurt me anymore. So that's the self-esteem I'm talking about. You get what I mean? The self-esteem, the self-confidence I'm talking about. So I look forward to a day where there'll be lots and lots of people who have come to this awareness, who have come, they call it the awakening, you know, who are awakened. You get what I mean? And realize that life is to be lived. Life is for expression, you know, because we just tend to think that God is this mad daddy, you get, who is just angry all the time, who goes about with a whip, you know, like whipping every child. You know, so that stops you. And it's because that was what they preached to us. That's what they told us when we were younger. You know, I have a TV show called on DSTV called How They Healed back here in Nigeria.
Yes, I love that show. I've been watching a few episodes. Yes, I love it.
Thank you. And there was somebody that came on there. She said that because she had an unhealthy relationship with her dad, it affected her relationship with God, with how she saw God. She said her dad needed for her to pass in school. He needed for her to do something nice, then he will reward her. Do you understand what I mean? So she now sees this God as a father who you needed to impress.
Yeah.
So that he can reward you. So she says that when she sees people singing all these songs or talking about how he's a loving dad, how, you know, you overlook mine, she's wondering. She said she couldn't relate. She couldn't, you know. So, and that's to tell you that it's still buttressing what I said earlier, how our childhood matters a lot, because our childhood, there's a lot of programming that has happened that they've given to us, the society as we are growing up, the schools we attended, the environment we grew up in, all of those things is going to affect how we see ourselves and how we see the world. You get what I mean? You know, so I want to tell as many people that are listening today, please go through spiritual healing. Go through healing. Your knowledge right now is not the apex. It's not the peak.
It's limited. It's limited. You're coming from a limiting belief or mindset.
Yes. And you know, as humans here, because we have different cultures, so that cultures also restrict our expressions. You get. You know, when I went on an interview recently, the host was saying, how do you talk about 15 abortions in Nigeria? Aren't you afraid? I said, well, I think I'm not born for this country. I think I am ahead of my time. Because these are the things that people have. These are conversations we should be having. Because these are, you know, day-to-day things that people go through, but we don't want to talk about them because it hurts our beliefs. It hurts our conditioning. It hurts our cultural. You get what I mean? You know, so I want to tell you guys, please go for therapy, contact spirit, divinational life coaching. Loretta, let her help you.
Thank you for the plug.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of Africans also, I'm sure African Americans, a lot of people generally, especially, in fact, let me Loretta, pardon me, let me just stay on Africans.
No
I've
worries.
read somewhere, and I believe it.
Do your thing. This is a free flow. Whatever you
And,
feel. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. Yes. We
yeah, and
all
I
can
believe
use
it.
it.
Yes, that because as somebody said, Kunle Shorinyo is a coach that I really love a lot. He said Africans are endangered species. They are endangered
Oh
species.
God.
Being born in an African soil makes you think you're a second-class citizen.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? Automatically, you think you're a second-class citizen, so you don't aim high, you don't aspire higher, you don't do beyond, you know, you don't reach too far, because you think, even in America, in Europe, in Europe, I see it. The Africans that are living over there in the diaspora, they don't, you know, they don't push as much.
It's the same thing because of slavery. Slavery instilled that. So it's like we are suffering there, they are suffering here. It's the same. It's the same. That's why.
You know, so you need extra help to be able to tune into your self-confidence, because without your self-confidence, my dear, you're just like Loretta said earlier, you're going to be a walking dead. You're going to be dead at 30 and buried at 80. That's how a lot of people are. A lot of people are dead spiritually, emotionally, since they were 30, since they were 40, but they were only buried at 80. What kind of life is that? You know, you cannot be who you want to be. Loretta, before now, even as a coach way back, I'm talking about 7, 8, 9 years ago, if I want to write something on Instagram or Facebook, I would have to give about 3, 4, 5 people to help me check. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And to me, I thought, you know, I was, you know, asking for counsel, but I realized that it's a lie. It's low self-esteem. Low self-confidence, you know. So I had this approval syndrome that I felt that if these people did not approve me, if they didn't tell me this is right, I won't be able to do nothing. I won't be able to be myself. It was this healing that I went through that helped, that liberated me. And I realized how the day I realized, because I'm a Christian, and that scripture that said, ye are gods and children of the Most High. Loretta, I read it in a different tone. As in, I started behaving like, what? You would think I was drunk that day, because I'm like, what?
I am God.
Me? This moment? Are you telling me I can create? I can create stuff for myself, for my generation? And that was the beginning of my liberation. That was the beginning. Because right now, I do stuff. That's why you can hear of me. You get what I mean? That's why you can even know me. That's how you can encounter me. Because, and when you hear, people always tell me this in the DM, like, the way you talk with so much confidence. Yes, it's healing. You get what I mean? Because
and they don't know the work that you've done to get there.
Yes.
That confidence.
It's a lifelong journey. That who these people are not better than me. You understand? So even as an African, you realize that even the whites, they're not better than you. Even these people living somewhere, they're not better than you. Because as African, we have that thing that you know, because here we don't have, you know, that our education is kind of different from theirs. You know, the light we have here, we don't have enough light, we don't have enough water. So it kind of limits how we see ourselves and how we apply for things or apply ourselves for things. So that's why you could see me create all of those programs, the TV programs, the TV shows, a lot of things that I've done. I have a lot of, you know, series on TV, you know, that talks about healing, therapy, and anything, you know, like that. And it was when I got that awakening, that freedom, that made me be able to realize my potential. So a lot of people right now, you have not been able to achieve your full potential because of lack of self-confidence that you inherited as an African, you know, from your background and from your lineage. So, and until you go through spiritual healing, you're never going to be able to attain your full potential. You're just going to die trying, you know. So that's what I just wanted to put out there.
That was amazing. And first, I want to say that I commend you, and I'm inspired by you. It's especially coming from where we're coming from, to speak so openly about something that we all hide under the table. So I am so inspired and
Thank
happy
you.
for your liberation, sister,
Thank
for
you.
real. Because I
Thank
know
you
that
so
was
much.
a burden. And
Yeah.
this ties back into when you were speaking about, those experiences you had, the abortions, the heartbreak, all of those things. We were talking about generational illnesses later,
Yeah.
where me and you haven't dived deeper to even go into all of that. But it could be linked to what we're saying as far as spiritual illnesses that could be in the bloodline for you to
Yeah.
even be in that mental state to have those experiences. And
Yes.
and I look at you as a curse breaker.
Yeah.
So this is again part of what we're talking about today. You broke
Yeah.
that curse.
Yeah.
You're breaking that curse daily by
Yes.
stepping into the calling that God has called you here to do. But
Yes.
you were the one that was supposed to break that. So I
Yeah.
think it's amazing because we don't think about it that way. We don't think about, oh yeah, we have all these generational illnesses and curses and things from our that we inherited without even our own knowledge. But we are responsible for breaking it,
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
just wanted to highlight that because it ties into the spiritual illnesses and generational illnesses and things
Illnesses
like
that
that.
we're talking.
And
Yeah.
another thing I want to highlight is, in order for someone to break a generational curse or to say I want to work on my spiritual healing, you mentioned I had to be you didn't, I don't know if you said the word vulnerable, but that's what I wrote down. It takes
Yes, that's it.
vulnerability. That is the first step, with especially here in the Western society. Vulnerability
Yes.
is not something that
That comes to us
even back home in Africa, I think it's
yeah.
not so common for people to be vulnerable. But
Yeah.
because we look at it as something that's weak. Meanwhile, that is the way to your liberation.
And that is strength. People see
Yes,
vulnerability as weakness. Unfortunately, that's a lie, because that's a strength. For someone to be able to go through stuff and then be able to open themselves up, that's strength. Not everyone has the power to do that. And and if you don't do that, you cannot move forward. I saw a quote somewhere, I think it's by Rumi, that says what he said, our darkness, we have to open our darkness to light, because if we don't open it, light cannot enter.
Yes, yes. I think it's the heartbreak is or the heartbreak is the opening to the light or
To
something
the
like
light,
that. Yeah.
something about that,
It's
or
the
like the
only way.
womb.
Your heart has to
Yeah,
be broken.
it has to be, so
Yes.
if you don't open it up, light is not gonna enter. And that's one of the things I use in my healing school. I have something I call the 9 steps of healing, and
Yes, yes.
acceptance is one of them. You have to come to a place of acceptance, a place where you know that, man, I'm a mess. I cannot continue like this. I cannot continue. If you don't get there, you cannot be healed. You are just going through the motions by day. You're just, winging it, just living from paycheck to paycheck, or just struggling through the life, through life by the day. You think, and everybody will tell you, that's well, all of us, we are hustling, we are struggling, my dear, just keep. But you have to get to a point where you say, no, this is not it. This is not working. This is no longer working. Enough is enough. I got to that place where I said, man, Lara, you are a mess. If you keep going like this, you're going to be real fucked very, very soon.
Yes.
So, and until we all get there, we're not going to heal. We're not going to move. There's never going to be a change if you keep living in denial, because the opposite of acceptance is denial. So a lot of people are living in denial. That's how the country is right now. That's how the world is. Everybody's like that. People are not unhappy. All of us are depressed. That's what they tell you in Nigeria. All of us are depressed in Nigeria.
Suffer and smiling. What did Fela say? Suffer and smiling. Yeah.
All of us are depressed. Don't let somebody come and collect your money. All of us are not okay in this country. In this, that's what people tell you. So, but until you get to that point where you say no.
Yeah. Like, why is it okay to be depressed and suffering? Why is that okay?
Yes. Why is it okay to be suffering and smiling? Why is it okay? Because everybody's doing it, or because everybody says that's what we're going through. So you have to follow them. And that's the place of identity that I was talking about earlier. You have to seek for your own identity. When you realize and understand your own identity. You can be able to stand on your own. You understand?
Yeah.
You can be able to say, no, this doesn't work for me. No, I'm not going to wear this. No, I'm not going to do that. You know, and you don't care whose ox is being good, you know, because you know that this thing does not suit my persona. This thing does not suit my identity. It doesn't work with me. You know, so now, before now, I had a lot of friends because, you know, I had a lot of friends. But now, I can count my friends. They're no more than 2 or 3, you know, because having realized my identity, I can say, no, this doesn't work for me. No, I can't come here and be smiling and be pretending. No, I can't do that, you know.
Yeah.
So until
taking
we
off the
come
mask.
I have to take off the mask. So you have to take off the mask. You have to stop lying to yourself. This marriage is hurting you. It's not working. Stop lying. Stop living in denial. This relationship is not taking you anywhere. You know, this job you're on, you know that, you know, the reason why you're not progressing is because of this thing. But you just keep lying to yourself and staying in denial. You're not going to heal. You're not going to be productive. You're not going to live a fulfilled life. You know, one of the greatest fear I have, Loretta, is to die unfulfilled. You get what I mean? Unfulfilled, you know. So that's why I do all I can. I do all I can. I don't, you know, people, my colleagues tell me, like, you don't even do as if you're in Nigeria. Like, can't you see all these economic forces happening? I'm like, well, I'm in Nigeria, but inside of me, it's not Nigeria.
Yes, that is a very, I'm glad you said that, because I think that sometimes people don't understand that you can be in chaos and be in heaven at the same time, because it's a mental space.
Hi,
you
Alex.
know?
Yeah.
Yes, you can be in even in your own family dynamic, in your work situation, in your romantic relationships, in you go into the mall and you see everybody just kind of crazy. You can be in the midst of a wildfire, but if you're mental and if you've done your spiritual work and you've healed certain things within, you are in a different frequency or vibration from everyone around you. Because it's not about the things around you. It's really your own inner world that really dictates what kind of life you're living. Another thing I want to mention as you were speaking about that, I don't know how it is in Nigeria or in Africa right now, but I know here in the United States, a lot of times when we think of, okay, there's something wrong, I need to heal, we go to the gym. We go work out, right? We get our body in shape, we put on makeup, we buy expensive things, we switch our cars, we're trying to compensate for something. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing that those things don't help you on an internal level. Yeah, you might look good if you work out and you have muscles, especially for the men, but your mind is going to pierce through that physical image. You're still going to be in bondage. You're still going to be suffering. Because it's not going to the gym. Okay, I feel I'm going through some mental things, or I have some issues here. Let me go work out. Those things are great because I'm all about mind, body, soul healing, right? Holistic healing. But that is not that is not the only thing. To me, the mind and the spirit is the most powerful thing in comparison to our outer bodies and looks and all of that. So that is a very, very, very great point for saying that.
So sorry, that's what
yes,
that girl's time says is a temporary fix. You know, I said earlier that, you know, we talked about blockage earlier. Imagine there's a blockage. Yes, Nikki real estate agent.
Nikki says covering it up. I did a live talk show. The second episode too was the mask we wear. That was a topic that I talked about. You know, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, you know, so we talked about, for instance, there's a blockage or something is happening to you, and then you go to the gym. What does the gym do to you? It gives you these hormones, you know, this dopamine, oxytocin, you know, all those feel good, you know, hormones at that particular time, and you feel good, you feel great, you feel, oh my God, I can take the world now, I can do this. It's not gonna last for more than how many
temporary
hours? It's just temporary. You really need to go to someone that can help you, where they're going to trace the source of your pain. That is very important. Tracing the source. You know, why am I like this? Why can't I? Why am I unhappy all the time? Why am I, you know, why am I always feeling lonely? Someone told me, you know, she came to me and she said, even her husband was like, what's wrong with you? You have money. You have, you're privileged, you know, in our society. And you're always complaining about being unhappy, being, you know, what's your problem? Like that her friends think she's just asking for too much and stuff. But we had to trace it. If you don't trace the source, you will keep managing. It's like you have a deep wound, but you keep covering it up, keep putting band-aid, keep putting band-aid, keep putting band-aid. You know what that means? The wound is going to keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until one day that leg or wherever you have it will no longer be usable. That's when people snap. That's when people have an outburst. You get, you know, that's when somebody called me and told me, Lara, she said she just finished beating up her house help and like 3 teeth came out. She said that I know now that I need help. I know now. Something drove her there. Something drove you there.
Just displacement of emotion. You're displacing it, channeling it in a different way that hurts somebody else, you know?
Exactly. Transferring the aggression or the pain, you know, to someone else. So until you trace it, there's a source. You have to trace the source of that pain. And also in my healing school, I talk about, you know, there's the primary source of pain, the secondary source of pain, and the tertiary source of pain. So a lot of people only deal with the tertiary. For instance, maybe someone comes to me now, Lara, I'm divorced, I'm unhappy. That's the tertiary. We may have to go back to your primary source of pain. Maybe you have a low self-esteem. Maybe your parents broke up when you were younger. Maybe you lacked the love of your parents. You had abandonment issues when you were a child. That was even what made you choose this kind of person in the first place.
Yes. It's always deeper.
It's always deeper. So if you don't heal that deep wound, you're just going to keep, you know, covering it up with gym, with makeup, with, you know, whatever else, you know, how our affirmations. Now, that's the new thing. I don't know who do affirmations. I can't do it. Somebody told me on Thursday, like, Lara, my mirror is my therapist. I'll just look at my mirror and say, you can do this. You got this. This.
Now, don't get me wrong. Those things, affirmations are great. They definitely help. But if you're not working on the roots of the issue, it's like putting Band-Aid without putting antiseptic or medicine or herbs before you put the Band-Aid on the wound. Exactly. It's just there. It's brewing, you know. So that's what I think that one is. Keep going.
Yes. Exactly.
Self-love says it will keep showing up.
Exactly. You know, it will just keep showing up. It will keep showing up. And, you know, I'm glad we talked about generational trauma. There's something called generational trauma. It's not the one that you think you have to go to church to go and break. It's not those type of ones. You know, it's for instance, you see some families, they'll say all their, you know, the women in that family, they are divorced. In Nigeria here, it's a red flag to men. They will even say,
same here in America. Same thing here.
Yeah, they used to leave their husband, though, don't go to, you know. And, you know, some people think it's from the mother side, from the father side. You realize that if you trace it psychologically, it could be that one person, it started from one person. You understand? One person marriage broke, or, you know, or they raised one girl to be this self-defiant, you know, feisty or whatever, you know. I'm just giving an instance. That's not always the case. I'm just trying to say, you know, so because of that, you know, she has children, she has people around who saw this, because what you behold is what you become. You get what I mean? So they saw this, because there's a man who called me once and said, Lara, I'm tired. My wife, anytime we have a little disagreement, she's always telling me I'm leaving. And it's you know, to him, it's shocking because he got married forever. So he's always, so, and by the time the lady came, and we went to this primary source of pain, tertiary source of pain, and the secondary source of pain. She realized, she was even the one saying that, oh my God, she realized that it was because her mom left, you know, her marriage when they were young. So it wasn't a conversation between anyone. It was just this subconscious programming of, if something is not working, man, I'm out. And she even said it goes back to the job too. to the extent that whenever, so it's not only showing up in relationships, to the job, it goes to the job. Like, so when she says, when she's in a job and it's stressing her, she's just cutting off, she's just out of it. So it's a subconscious learning from someone that has been passed down to different generations. You know,
wow, so that is a good one. I think in my own personal life, in relationships, in romantic relationships, I mean, not even romantic, even platonic relationships, I noticed that if there was something that came up, I'm quick to leave, you know. But now that I've done some healing, I understand that's some programming. In a way, it's like you don't want to get hurt, so you leave first.
So it's self-protection.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, in that moment, you're not conscious of what may be happening. But unconsciously and subconsciously, it's a defense mechanism, right? Angel Coach said, "Me, I'm out." Yes. So it's very real. It's very real, you know. Wow. We have about, I know you have to go. We have about 15 minutes left. This is so amazing. And obviously, it's clear that we can talk forever, right?
Yeah.
We have to do this again.
Our connection. I like it.
Let's see. Something I want to tie into here is what spiritual shifts is happening in our current days. So what do you think? Do you see any changes in let's say in the world, not just Nigeria, just generally? I mean, you're a spiritual woman, so you have eyes to see, you know, or feel the changes in the world, you know. So do you want to speak on that? Do you see any shifts in spiritual healing, the way it's perceived today as opposed to maybe 15 years ago or something?
Yeah. So I think this generation, a lot is happening, you know. Firstly, a lot of people are confused, you know, but one thing I like the most is that we're looking for answers. We're tired of how it's being
more
done.
More than ever now.
A lot of people are tired. We're tired of life as usual, of how we used to do it, because we realized that it didn't serve our parents. You know, he didn't serve us when we were younger, you know, so we're looking for a change. That's what I realized. And so, but in looking or in seeking for change, you can also dabble into so many things that can get you confused. You understand what I mean? Someone says
Julie says we are woke. We are woke, sister. We are woke. Eyes wide open.
You know, so in searching for answers, we also tend to be confused. We tend to seek the wrong, you know, things and paths. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell people, see, someone was telling me last week Sunday, Lara, this person, they used to be spiritual before. Look at what they're doing. I said, just leave them. They're on a journey. Please, you understand? So leave people to go through their journeys. Leave people to go through their paths.
That is so true. Yes.
It's very important.
Yes. I'm learning that myself.
Yeah. So stop forcing your beliefs or your whatever on people. Leave them alone. Let people go through their journeys. At some point, they're going to come full circle. Everybody does. We all come full circle. So, but what I'm so happy about the fact that people are questioning the norm. I like it a lot. People are, in fact, Christians, for instance, a lot of people, I'm like, man, these pastors, I'm not going to church again. They're just telling me nonsense. I'm just laughing anytime I say it, because I like when people question the norm. I've forgotten a guy, a philosopher, who says that the essence of education is to replace a closed mind with an open mind. You get what I mean? And so when you have an open mind, you question things. When somebody suggests something, or when you see things, you don't just shoo it away and say, oh no, I rebuke you. No, you get to ask why.
Be curious.
You'll be curious. Why do they think this way? What makes this person says this? What makes this people think that this is, you know, is going to cure them and stuff like that? So it's okay. So, but I am so happy that people are taking over their own healing. People are taking over their own spirituality. They're taking responsibility. They no longer leave it into the hands of all those people that led us astray and just say things from their own cultural mindsets. Because for, you know, all the churches I've attended when I was here, I tell people we just practice cultural Christianity. This pastor talks this way because he's Nigerian, you know. So this Christianity cannot be exported, man. It can't be exported to Spain or America. You will see that when people relocate, the way they relate spiritually is going to be different, you know. So that's the shift that I see that people are going through, questioning things, looking for answers, looking for how to solve, you know, things, you know. But unfortunately also, the more we question, the more like I said, the journey, the more junks, do you get what I mean, we're going to have to swallow. And until we realize that, oh, okay, this is not paying me, let me try another one. But unfortunately, that's why we need to also be sensitive. Unfortunately, not every system will be able to handle the junk. Some might be lost along the way. You get what I mean? So that's why sensitivity is key. Don't do things because everybody's doing it, please. That's why you need to be aware of your own identity. Don't do things because everyone is doing this. Don't do things because they say this is the rave right now. This is what is in vogue right now. This is what is making sense. Don't do that. Do things, test with your spirit. Even the Bible says, test all spirits. Test it. Does this thing go? Does this thing, you know, align with my values? Does this person align? You know, and see, you can change. You can wake up at 45 years old and decide to live a new life. Please, by all means. Do not be restricted. Do not say, because this is all I have known all my life, so this is what I am going to live, or this is how I'm going to live for the rest of my life. My dear, you are going to die emotionally or spiritually. You can wake up and decide to start again. It is never too late to start again. You can wake up and say, nope, that was what happened to me when I left my marriage. I decided to start again because I realized that that life and every other thing was not, you know, it wasn't supporting who my identity, who I truly am. So I didn't, so instead of caring about what people will say, so that's why a lot of people are in unhappy marriages today. You know, they know this thing does not fit my soul. It doesn't suit my spirit anymore. My soul is yearning for more. But because of society, they're going to die there. You know, and so you'll be an unfulfilled person. You'll be an unhappy person. You'll be a bitter person. You'll be a depressed person because of society. Please come out of that. So that's what I have to say about the shift I see.
That was some great motivational words. Yes.
Thank you.
So amazing. Thank you. Like here in I mean, I live in Las Vegas. I can speak for Las Vegas, and you know, I don't have experience with other states in America unless I see it on social media, on TV, online. But what I'm sensing is that more people, especially with this work that I'm doing, even myself, stepping into the role of being a spiritual life coach, that is a change that happened within my inner world. And I'm seeing that, with a lot of people here who are becoming more open, like, okay, certain traditions are not working for me anymore. Let me try something. Like you said, don't just go into anything and try it. No, that's not the way. But you can be open, be curious to see what it's about. Then, like you said, come back to your heart and say, is this for me? Or if this is not for me, you know. But I see the changes here. People are becoming more spiritual, more in tune. I mean, the last 3 years has been very trying for the whole world, right? With the pandemic, with COVID, so many people have lost their loved ones. So many people have gone through serious ailments that they almost died, even from COVID, but they still made it. So that changes you as a person. So I am also seeing the changes that are happening here in the Western world with healing, you know, with wanting something different, with breaking out of the matrix, out of the programming, and trying something different. So that's a good thing that you're saying, that you're seeing it happening in Africa and it's happening here. That means it's happening in the whole world. You know?
The whole world.
So that's a blessing. That's a blessing. The shift is happening. Now, what are the importance of, or what is the importance of generational curses and the importance of healing them? Why is it important for someone to take their healing seriously? Why, you know, because like you said, some of your clients are like, oh, okay, maybe next time. I don't have the funds right now. It's not a priority.
It's not a priority.
Why is it important? Yes. Why is it important, in your opinion, for someone to take that seriously?
It's going to disturb your fulfillment. You understand? It's going to disturb your fulfillment. It's like somebody who knows that, okay, I want to go to the US, for instance. If I go to the US, my chances will be improved, my chances of making money or stuff. Maybe that's the mindset now. Let's just borrow that, and stuff. But because you have refused, but you need to do the work. You need to go get your visa. You need to go to the embassy. You need to, and those are the work. That's the work you have to do. You need to go and do your interview. You need to wake up early, but you keep postponing it and be like, no, I can't do that. Don't worry, I'll do it in 2 years.
But you still want to go. But you still want to go. But the work, okay, yeah, okay.
So the more you postpone that healing, the more you are postponing your happiness or your joy or your fulfilled life. Because there's a fulfilled life that you're supposed to live. Do you get what I mean? So until you heal that, you're postponing your it's like, look at the life I'm living now, for instance. Look at how I'm helping a lot of people. Look at how I'm this more confident and all of that. If I didn't do the work, I was still going to be that scared little girl, who is under people, who always was afraid of what people would say and all of that. And I would not be where I am today. So that is the reason why it is important that you do the work, that you heal from your trauma, that you go through spiritual healing. Because until you do that, you're going to be stuck. That's just it in summary. You're gonna live a stuck life, and you'll be unhappy, you'll be unfulfilled, you'll blame everybody else except yourself. So that's it.
Thank you. That's very great. And for me, my own personal journey as far as why I decided to heal my own self or get on the path to healing internally.
Yeah.
For some reason, it seems like something has to really be bad for us. For us to say, okay, you know what, I give up. Let me look into something else. For me, it was certain patterns started showing up in my life in different areas, even in my businesses, in my work, in my interpersonal relationships, within myself, the way that I reacted to things, the actions that I took with certain things. I started seeing it like a movie, but it all stemmed from pain.
Yes.
So sometimes we can use pain, as a catalyst to get on our spiritual journey. So don't even be afraid of pain. Sometimes we go through pain and we push it. Pain can be your life savior, whatever it takes you, I wouldn't want you to go through pain. I wish that you can step into that before going through pain, but however it comes, that was my own experience. What made me say, okay, something is off, I just felt like something. And then you look at family dynamics and you start noticing certain things. And I'm like, okay, I'm a curious person. Why is this happening the way it's happening? I'm naturally a psychologist by nature. So I want to know why everything is everything, why people do what they do, why people act how they. So that was my own, the way that I stepped into my own personal healing journey before I became a spiritual life coach. And the spiritual journey of healing never ends. I think somebody mentioned that. It's a lifelong thing, because just when you think you arrived, something else comes in and triggers you, like, oh wow, I thought I dealt with this. But it's every day you get better. And what I tell my clients is, healing is not linear. Also, healing may never be final. What helps, because you can say, okay, well, if it's not final, why are we even spiritual healing? What I tell people is, when you start healing, what happens is, doesn't mean that the problems stop. We can't control that. Life is gonna life all day. The problems never stop. What it is you change. So when these triggers come, when this disruptive experiences come, because you feel, it doesn't hold as much weight. And to me, if that's the only thing that healing brings, I'll take that.
Differently, you handle it differently, you act differently to those life issues. Because, because sometimes we expect things to not be in our minds anymore. Okay, I've healed. Well, this shit should this did I say this shit? Well, this shit should not be in our minds anymore, right? But we don't realize that you can't control what happens in your mental plane. We don't have that type of power. We don't have that power to control what comes into our mental experiences. We only have the power to react to it when it comes. That's the only power we have.
is how we react to it. So the triggers are still gonna be there. Wars are still gonna happen around the world. You by yourself, me by myself. I can't control what's happening in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
But because of my healing and the work I'm doing every single day in my mental world, I'm able to deal with it better and not allow it consume me. So that is something I wanted to highlight when it comes to healing. So let's see. Why do you think people are afraid to heal? Let's talk about that. What is the fear in healing? Back to the stigmas, right? What is the stigma when we hear spiritual healing? What is that fear there?
Okay, so vulnerability, people don't want to open up, because someone told me the other day that, Lara, I want to do therapy so bad, but I know he's going to bring up a lot of things that are buried for so long. I don't want to go down that route. And I laugh, because if you don't go that route, you're still going to be in this pain. So why don't you go through that route once and for all, deal with it once and for all, than postponing it and then burying it until one day it just, comes up and just, throws you off balance, so that's one thing why people are afraid. They're too afraid of, bringing up their past or things that they don't want to think about. Then also people don't want to be labeled. You get what I mean? People don't want to be labeled, in this our world today, especially if you belong to a sect. If you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're something, something is against our sect.
Or even in business, even in certain type of jobs, because we hold certain titles, because or certain maybe fraternities or sororities, whatever title it is, those are all
Yes, whatever title will belong to the sect that you belong to. People are afraid to be labeled or be judged, or for people to say, oh, why are you doing this? Because, and I said it earlier, if you keep thinking like this, it's because your identity is still being questioned. If you no longer, if you can get over your distorted identity and embrace your own identity.
Get over yourself. It's so much bigger than me.
You realize that life is, you can't, your journey is your journey. It's personal and it's peculiar to only you. You cannot allow other people influence it, or whatever they say, judge or influence whatever journey you have to go through. So that's that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. The fear of judgments, the fear of okay, you're even here. There's a stigma around seeing a mental therapist. Oh, there's some, especially let's say in certain communities, is looked at a certain way. That means I have problems. Oh, I need to go see a therapist. That means I have. So the world is gonna know I have problems. Meanwhile, every single human being is thinking the same way you're thinking, like, oh, I have problems. So it just takes one person to just say, okay, I have problems. Everybody else starts doing the same thing. So I think that fear of that's the stigma. I don't want it to seem like, oh, I have mental issues or spiritual issues, emotional issues, which are all the same thing.
You do anyway. So just accept it. We talked about acceptance earlier. Stop being in denial.
Exactly. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do here is if anybody has questions, please, we're gonna wrap up here in just a few minutes. Thank you guys for all the comments. I can't read all of them as I'm going, but I thank you guys for appreciating. Some people said they appreciate us doing this, so thank you for appreciating this.
Thank you.
You guys give me the drive and the motivation to keep going because of you're receptive of it. I mean, I'm doing this because it comes from my heart, not because anyone is watching, but that helps. I mean, we're all connected beings and we're all energy. So it helps that you're taking time out of your day to be here with us and just share this screen with us. So the last minute thing that I think I have about 2 or 3 more questions.
My God, Loretta.
You have to go, right?
Go, yeah.
Okay, so just last thing, share some tips. What are some tips that can help us? Just a few tips of how we can spiritual healing. What are some tips that can help us heal?
Okay, so firstly, you need to come to a place of acceptance. That, I don't like this life anymore. I don't like my patterns. I don't like what I'm going through. I don't want to be this person anymore. You get what I mean? So when you come to a place of acceptance, then you're starting. So when you get there, then next thing is ask for help. You cannot do it yourself. It's not possible. The reason is because the state of mind that you're in, you know, was what created the problem. You have to leave that state of mind to be able to find a, you know, solution, you know, and you cannot leave that by yourself. You need help from somebody who's been through or who is trained or qualified, you know, to help you. So seek for help from Loretta, from me, from anyone who knows, you know, who is qualified, you know, a therapist, a life coach, or anyone like that that can help you. You have to seek for help. You cannot do it by yourself. And then 3, be open, be receptive. You know, I know people who have gone through therapy or whatever and they're still on that same spot. The reason is because they are not open-minded. They're always saying, you know, they are too closed-minded. They're not curious, you know, because of what they had earlier. Is difficult. There's what is happening to them is conscious resistance. So they are resisting the new knowledge, the new information that they are getting. And if you keep doing that, you will never change. Nothing will happen. You still be the same person, criticizing, unhappy, complaining every day and stuff. So you need to be open-minded to new knowledge. You need to be able to, you know, feel like, okay, I'm a novice. I don't know anything. You know, you need to be able to get there. That's how to create change. That's how to learn, you know, instead of questioning, not like you don't question, but instead of criticizing, that's the word, critiquing. No, have, you know, you have to be open-minded. Like, let me learn this thing. Let me be open to this new information, and then cross-check it with your spirit, cross-check it with your heart, you know. And then accept it. You're going to be fine. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. All of us are on a journey. Stop beating yourself down. You know, if things are not going on well, you know, that's self-condemnation. That's not going to help you. Just seek for help, you know, and allow help in. You'll be fine. So that's it.
And just to connect with you saying that it's like you said, compassion, having compassion and patience for your own self. It's not easy. This show is not to point fingers or bash anyone. It's having more compassion for yourself. What I wrote down here as tips are shadow work. That is, shadow work encompasses so many things. How can I practically heal? Do some shadow work. What it means is looking inwards, looking at your own self, your own patterns, the way you react, the things you do, looking within your own self, calling your own self out. And on the shadow work, you can do things like journaling, therapy, like she said, acceptance of what is going on right now, acceptance of the issue, not, oh my God, this didn't happen. No, accept that it did. Forgiveness, letting go of the thing that happened. If it was trauma from 3 years old, start letting go. Forgive. Not in a, oh, just forgive it. No, really forgive, but most importantly, forgive your own self. You know, sometimes we hold, that's the most, the hardest thing to do sometimes. Forgiving yourself.
Very hard.
So start with there. I always tell my clients, in order for you to forgive someone else, start with yourself and see how easier it will become for you to forgive whatever happened to you that traumatized you. And physical therapy as well. That is all important. We're talking about the mind and the spirit, but everything is important. Physical, mental, all of that is a conglomerate of how you can get to wellness. So Coach Lara, thank you so much for this. Yes, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me as well. And hopefully we can do this another time. If you want to reach Lara, I'll also put her information at the bottom there, and you can link directly with her. She's all the way in Nigeria. She has some beautiful courses that, I mean, next time she'll tell us more about that. So thank you for your time, and I know that you have to go. We appreciate your presence. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. I'll post this on my page. So God bless you all. Thank you.